The king of Sodom said to Abraham, give me the people and take the possessions yourself. But Abraham replied to the king of Sodom, I raise my hand in the presence of Yahweh, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth. Notice, God, Yahweh is the creator God there. And I told you that Yahweh actually means he who creates. And that's the first time actually that he's been defined as the creator. And I think that that's where his name comes from. He who calls us to be. Makes being a creator. Not one thread, not one sandal, so nothing will I take which is yours. You shall not say, I enriched Abraham. That's different from the other stories. For myself, nothing. There's only what men can have eaten, and the share belonging to the men who came with me, Eshcol, Honor, and Mamre. Let them take their share. Okay, so now chapter 15. Another story about Abraham. He has a vision. Abraham, I am your shield. My Lord Yahweh. There's Yahweh God again. No, it isn't Yahweh God. It's Lord. It's Lord. It's Lord. It really is Lord Yahweh. In the regular text, we probably read Lord. In any case, what are you going to give me? See, now this is the promise. I think that he will have descendants. You've given me no descendants. Some man of my household will be my heir. And then I will be laughed at. Look up to heaven. Count the stars if you can. Such will be your descendants. And Abraham put his faith in Yahweh, in the Lord, and it was counted for him as righteousness. That too is a big passage in the New Testament. All of Christianity is based on that. That Abraham's faith, Paul says, is our faith. And that's how we're blessed the way Abraham was blessed, not by the law and so on. So again, he takes things out of this and moves it up 2,500 years later into his theology. The previous promise, 13:15, was, I will make you as the dust of the ground. Now, what's this? 15, where is that, the stars of heaven? What number is that? 15:6?
15:5.
15:5, stars of heaven. And then, so these are basically variations from different tradition lines of promises, usually associated with shrines. That one was 13:15. I'm going to write it over here. 13:15. So, some sacrificing goes on here. I am Yahweh who brought you out of the Ur of the Chaldees. My Lord Yahweh, Abraham says, here I am. I want to inherit things. Give me a heifer and so on. And he describes this sacrifice. So then he falls into a deep sleep. And once again, Yahweh speaks to him, line 13. Yahweh, Abraham, look at this. Know for certain your descendants will be exiles from this land to a land not their own, where they will be slaves and oppressed. But I will pass judgment on that nation that enslaves them. You shall go forth to your fathers in peace. You will be buried at a ripe old age. But in the fourth generation they will come back here. So this is a preview of the Exodus that's already been given Abraham in a vision. Where is this all taking place? What shrine are we at here? Are we at a shrine? Where did he come out to meet him? It's not. It isn't clear. There is no place name associated with this. Anyway, another covenant is made, line 18. To your descendants I give this land from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river. In other words, from the Nile to the Euphrates. No, don't show this to the UN. Don't show this to Yasser Arafat. Don't show this to Hosni Mubarak. They won't like it. I don't think that it's realistic in any case. But they are talking about the Euphrates River and all the people in between. Well, that's where this Zionism and wishing to go back to the original land, a lot of it comes from. Let's just look at 16 quickly before we leave. I want to do the Hagar Sarah story here, and then we'll go. So Abraham's wife didn't have a child. So now we're in another one of these very colorful stories, clearly a Yahwist again. And these are unforgettable ones. And they always have a lot of sex in them. This one has some good sex in it too. Listen, Yahweh has kept me from having children. Therefore, take my slave girl, and I will basically have children through her. That was the custom, clearly, that any children your slave had was counted to you. Maybe the American South was like that too, I don't know. Thus after Abraham, they didn't seem to behave like that. Thus after Abraham had lived in the land of Canaan for 10 years, Sarah took Hagar, her Egyptian slave girl, and gave her to Abraham. He went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. You know, in Paul in Galatians, he says that we Christians are the true children of Sarah. The Jews are the children of Hagar. Well, to people who don't read the Old Testament, that'll fly. But anyone who knows the stories of the Old Testament knows the Jews aren't the children of Hagar. According to their view, maybe they are, I don't know. But their view, they aren't. Again, Paul is doing symbolic games between slave and free. And for him in Galatians, Hagar represents slavery, and the Jews are enslaved because they follow Moses. That's what his view is. They're enslaved to the law of Moses. And we Christians, we're free, therefore we're from Sarah because we don't follow the law of Moses. Well, you know, I mean, within the context of the Old Testament, that's really insulting. You can't get much more insulting than that. You know, take the Hebrew genealogies, fool around with them, turn them against the people that there are, condemn their greatest legislature, laugh at him, and ultimately say, we're the descendants of your real mother because we are free of your law. I mean, I don't know what that's worthy of. Frankly, I don't want to get too over it, but you'd have to be from an outside people to think that that was something that was fair. If you were from the people itself, you would never in a million years consider that a fair thing to do with what people hold precious. You probably wouldn't be able to get away with that under the law of civil rights in the United States in terms of how you presented somebody. But this has been enshrined in our history. In any case, this is what it's going back to, Hagar and Sarah. If you want that chapter in Galatians, it's chapter 4. And you will read something that will make your hair stand on end. In terms of these stories, anyway. Here's this human story. So he goes in unto Hagar, she conceives, and then of course the minute that happens, she gets uppity, if you want to call it that. Sarah counts for nothing in her eyes. So Sarah's upset. Look, she goes in and complains to Abraham. That's what happened in a situation like this. This is an insult now. May it be on your shoulders. I gave her you, the girl. And now, since she's got a child, I count for nothing in her eyes. Now this is real literature. Great storytelling by someone who knows how to tell a story. And then Sarah said, of course, anyone who's got a wife knows that he could get into this situation, in a situation like this. And this is exactly what his wife would say. And let Yahweh be the judge. Okay, Abraham says, look, I can't deal with this. It's your slave girl. She's at your disposal. He's a coward always in these stories. He doesn't even stick up for the woman that he's gotten pregnant. Treat her as you will. Treat her as you think fit. And accordingly, Sarah treated her so badly that she ran away. I'll leave it there. But the story is not sympathetic to Abraham, not sympathetic to Sarah. The story is actually sympathetic to Hagar, which shows how fair the old storyteller was. He actually has Ishmael at a shrine crying, and an angel goes down to him, saves him, gives him promises, and so on. And the narrator shows himself to be sympathetic to Ishmael and Hagar, not the way Sarah and Abraham behaved. So once more, these people are never presented in a totally idealized way.